Here's a song I've been singing for a long, long time now. It's a traditional English song called Lord Franklin. I'll give it a try. In fact, as time passes, I find out more and more about this song, and I really must tell you a little story about it all. Although, to be honest, the telling of this story ruins the song forever. But it's unlikely it can do more damage than I've been doing it over the years actually singing it. Yeah, the story of the ballad is that it's about an expedition made at the beginning of the last century to try and find a trade route to the east, the elusive Northwest Passage that was assumed to be up there, north of Newfoundland. And a number of expeditions went out. Franklin's was the last, and the one that got the most publicity, but there was plenty before, and none of them ever came back. And basically that's how the ballad started off. The ballad simply says, the fate of Franklin no tongue shall tell. Well, it's not true anymore. I'm about to tell you about it. It's really wonderful, gruesome stuff. It's a bit like the Charles Manson story. It turns out that recently some guys went up there to try and find Franklin's expedition, and sure enough they found it. They found the ship hundreds of miles away from where it would logically have been, stuck in the ice, and they also found the bones and the remains of the seamen still intact. And these guys had obviously travelled south from the ship and tried to walk through the ice and snow. And the guys that went up there to find these remains were bone experts, skeleton experts, and yeah, well, it was weird bunch of people anyway. What they found was very strange stuff. They found that these guys were strewn around in a very strange way. They might find a torso and a leg belonging to one guy, and then 10 miles further on his other leg, and it was just really ridiculous. They couldn't work out how these guys had actually walked through the snow and ice with their other legs missing, and it was just a big mystery. So they investigated further, and they turned out that old Franklin, although he was no doubt a very sort of brave guy and all this, he was a fine, plump, big specimen of English manhood who simply didn't have a clue about navigation. That's the one drawback. He was selected because he was a man of the right breeding, right? He gave with the right social status, but he had no clue whatsoever. And he'd equipped the ship with what he deemed necessary for Arctic exploration, which was a small billiard hall, a library of pot boilers, a very large supply of port entirely for himself, and no food. So basically, the fate of Franklin is this. The guys were very, very hungry. Old Franklin was a nice plump pink specimen, as I told you, and it was all his fault they were lost. Well, I can't really spread it out any further than that, except to say that they did find the remains of Franklin, not much of him left, in a box with the ship's log stuffed up his last remaining orifice as a kind of thank you for the boys. And that's about it. Well, if that doesn't ruin the song, I don't know what. Anyway, there's a very nice touch to this, and you should know about this. He was only Sir John Franklin when he left England, but the Admiralty made him Lord Franklin after he'd lost the lives of all his crew through incompetence. So a nice gesture, I always think.
Homeward bound one night on the deep, swinging in my hammock I fell asleep. I dreamed a dream, thought it true, concerning Franklin and his gallant crew. With 100 seamen he sailed away to the frozen ocean in the month of May, to seek a passage around the pole, where we poor seamen we sometimes go. strove. The ships on mountains of ice was drove. Only the Eskimo in his skin canoe was the only one that ever came through. Bay where the whalefishes blow, the fate of Franklin no man may know. The fate of Franklin no tongue can tell. Lord Franklin alone with his seamen to dwell. Gives me pain. For my lost Franklin I would cross the main.